Aloha, Mother Fathers. Welcome in another episode of the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast. Here, of course, broadcasting all along the audio and video verse that is the internet. Kyle Cornell, Double A Anthony Alfred with you, as always, on our new adopted day for the foreseeable future. I've talked to you about that a little bit later as well. Friday, we're here for you. Doesn't mean we watched AEW, trust me, but nevertheless.
I watched a little bit. I was intrigued. They had some story, but I want to know, Pete, how was the AC/DC concert?
The AC/DC concert was amazing. It was probably the best concert I've ever seen.
All the original band members, right?
No.
I know.
Since one is dead,
there's a skeleton on the.
Since a few are dead.
Yeah, just a few.
But it was Brian Johnson.
Okay.
Nice.
And Angus Young. So it was the fact that Angus Young at 70 years old could run around the stage for over 2 hours playing the whole time. I mean,
they toured in the 70s, 80s, man.
Amazing.
Cocaine and cardio. That's how it works.
That's what I said. I said cocaine's a hell of a drug because I honestly don't know how.
Mick Jagger looks like he's 145, but feels like he's 23.
Look at Keith Richards.
Yeah.
I mean,
man, we saw the American Music Awards the other day. Rod Stewart, dude's like 80, still running.
Yeah,
on stage.
Makes you wonder.
Oh yeah, Angus Young. I mean, just doing the little skip thing as he's playing, all over the stage, and it was a big stage too, and it was.
Was that at Rocket Mortgage or was it at the Brown Stadium?
It was at Brown Stadium.
I would figure it's AC/DC. It's probably going to be bigger.
Oh
than
yeah, and
the
encore is basically like it was a finale. I mean,
are they done now?
They played for those about to rock.
Mm.
And they had cannons on stage that they're firing off, and then the very end was just fireworks. It was
they borrowed the cannons from Baker Mayfield in Tampa.
They may have.
This is our house
at Raymond James Stadium.
This is our house. So wait a minute. So Kyle, so there was 70, around 70.
So Angus Young is 70, and Brian Johnson is 77. My dad's 80. He'll be 80 this year. So I can't believe that. Like,
I love how you put your dad and Angus Young in the same stratosphere.
Classics, retro classics.
But that's just it. I can't picture like my parents did not listen to AC/DC,
right?
At all. And I got into AC/DC from my cousin because one Christmas back in the 80s, he got the Back in Black album for Christmas. And my aunt regretted it because he was blasting Hell's Bells on Christmas morning throughout their basement. So
it's not my generation, but it's all I listened to was classic rock.
Yeah.
So
it was as I got into high school, my cousin was about 5-6 years older than me. He was off of college, and he like Thanksgiving, he's like, here, and he just gave me a bunch of his Ted Nugent, AC/DC, Kiss, albums.
My
my
walkout song for my reception was Back in Black.
Nice.
You know what was crazy? I don't, in classic rock's not my number one or anything, but I don't know if there's a bad classic rock song. I mean, I'm sure there is, but I'm sure there is.
The thing is, there are so many really good songs.
Right.
And the funny thing is, I was thinking about this.
They don't make music like they used to.
Well,
back in my day,
I was picking Joe up from school, and I was on my way there, and on my Spotify playlist, like The Clash came up, and it's like the song is kind of basic. I mean, but it's a good song. Mm-hmm. It's catchy, and I'm like, the thing is, back then, that there wasn't anything like that.
Right.
So it's like it didn't have to be this crazy over the top song. It was just a really good riff, a good melody. It was a catchy tune, and a really good drum beat to it. And it's like that really just took off. And it was like, you're right. There's so many classic rock songs where it's like, wow, this is just a great piece of music to listen to.
Unbelievable. And he's thinking about people at those ages. I'm 33. I ain't running around Brown Stadium. I barely run around Planet Fitness. I mean, you want to talk about I think sometimes we think about age, and it's just like, man, what's the big deal about age? Because eventually you're going to fall off. Father time does happen, but, Rey Mysterio's still around. A lot
He's
of
like
other
50.
older, yeah. And if you didn't know any better, I don't think anybody would say, if you had a quiz, how old is Rey Mysterio? Nobody would say and it's 50 years old.
Edge's last run in WWE when he was back before he left, I mean, he looked like he was he looked in the best shape of his life.
Mhm.
Christian, same thing. They both got in amazing shape, and they just look fantastic. Now they do dumb shit at
Right.
the new place, but nevertheless, they still look great. So
The crazy thing, way back when, like, the big criticism of WCW, they had a ton of older wrestlers hogging up the main event. Now, yeah, they were hogging up the main event. They were all in their 40s. Look at the roster now at WWE. A lot of the top male superstars are in their 40s.
late 30s, early 40s. Roman just turned 40.
And we're all
Yeah.
saying, man, a lot of these guys, they got like,
5,
another
10 years,
10-year
Yeah.
window.
It's a different prime now. Like I think because the schedule is so much lighter for both sides.
Yeah.
Than it ever was. I mean, you're working maybe 2 days a week. Maybe.
And maybe that's the good thing that AEW did bring to the table. Is like, hey,
Well, the pandemic
if you
really
don't-
brought it to the table. But,
and
yeah.
that too. It's like, listen, if this 300-day tour schedule,
You don't need to
is
do it
for the
anymore.
birds.
Well, you don't need to do it anymore. I mean, because with the internet and everything too, everything's everywhere.
Mhm.
So you can always watch something and find it. You don't have to worry about house shows, whatever it is. I mean, because they go everywhere too. I mean, the variety of what both companies do, and it's easier to go watch wrestling in general with the independent scene blowing up and everything all over the place. We know we have Exo Pro in our backyard and everything
Mhm.
too. We want to watch a good wrestling show. We can just go, 30 minutes north or whatever it is.
Yeah,
We're there. I mean,
one of Cora J, one of her first independent bookings is going to be here in Northeast Ohio with AEW coming up in July. So a lot of cool stuff. By the way, did you watch live NXT?
No, so you were watching it, and I was not. It was like 9:30, and you had told me, like, hey, you probably should watch some of this. So I ended up watching it all. I finished it maybe by like 10:45 because I cut out the commercials and all that stuff.
If you miss NXT to watch a competitive basketball game and actually the Eastern Conference Final, we're taping on Thursday night before we find out the result of Game 5 of Knicks Pacers.
Yeah.
But the competitive conference finals has been Knicks Pacers, and that went up against NXT. So if you missed NXT, boy, you missed a lot. That's our top story for this episode
What the
of
hell?
the Side Hustle podcast. To Kyle's shoulder was the unbelievable opener for the North American Championship.
Really good match.
Unbelievable match with Ricky Starks and Ethan Page, and just the storytelling of that match. And they had security, and then Ava had to come out, and it was nuts, absolutely nuts. The steel chair
Yeah,
shot,
that spot was crazy.
crazy. I want to talk about Trick Williams as TNA champion. I told you when we were prepping for this show, I'm honestly starting to get sick and tired of like saving the company storylines. The only one that makes sense is Trick Williams because
He doesn't actually work for TNA.
TNA legitimately lost their championship.
Everyone else, John Cena has always worked for WWE. Mox is one of the founding people of AEW. He's one of the pillars, so to speak. I mean, this guy genuinely does not work there. Like, he's been on one show to attack Joe Hendry, and that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, it's legitimate. Like, yeah, he does. He's not a contracted TNA superstar, and he has our main championship. I understand why people there would have a problem with that.
Yeah, that would be a problem. I heard Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler on Busted Open.
I'm sure he was thrilled.
He was like, dude, I got all this stuff going on with the Hardys, but if we don't bring this title back, I will break out of that and get this championship back. There needs to be...
So great. Dolph Ziggler's opened the door to show up in WWE again. That's great.
Like, we need to address some things. If the bottom two was just a headline from NXT, that would have been cool on its own. Like, man,
Yeah,
man,
but there
man,
wasn't.
man.
There was more shit.
But somebody of great importance lost their championship. Shockingly, lost their championship. And Stephanie Vaquer, after beating Jordan Grace at Battleground, loses the championship on Tuesday.
This is honestly, I think, the story of her is too much too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Double champion, wanted to defend both titles in one night, couldn't handle it, had to give up the women's North American championship. Wrestled on Saturday, great match, or Sunday, whatever. Sunday it was, yeah, Sunday. Immediately, just because she gets slapped in the face, has a world title match, on Tuesday. It's like, too much, too quick. And I think that's a story maybe they're going to tell with her when she now inevitably moves to the main roster because they have Evolution coming up. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. That was officially announced.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a bunch of things with this women's division they need to kind of uplift a little bit so they could use some Stephanie on the main roster. What that means for Booker, I have no idea. We've been waiting for Stephanie and Trick. Those are the two. When they leave, what's he going to do? Is he going to get fired? I have no idea. Like, he's got to figure something else out because that's his two biggest gimmicks. The crowd's chanting Booker T's name in 2025 because of these people. So, I mean, I don't know. But, no, I was shocked and I wasn't from a standpoint of JC is the last remaining person from Toxic Attraction.
Yeah, what an unbelievable story.
I mean, she's just hung out. She's been there and stayed and somehow not gotten released and been able to form a new group where she's kind of the leader and all that stuff. Yeah, now, I mean, this is kind of like rewarding her. I look at it kind of like the Indy Hardball thing. Pete, you good? Okay. The camera was moving. I wasn't sure if that was...
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it's been doing this. slide to the left, slide to the right.
Hey, that was the
that was my bad. I was trying to adjust.
That was those cannons. They're still firing those off.
I was trying to adjust Anthony's shot.
Hey, that was
he keeps moving.
Sorry, it's been a hectic day.
Rocking around. The Christmas tree. It's June almost. No, like this is.
At this point, if your Christmas tree is still up,
just keep it up.
Just keep it.
Yeah.
Leave it up.
Yeah, leave it up. Hopefully it's fake. But yeah, just leave it up. Because then you can do Christmas in July.
You know
it's
what?
almost there.
Not a bad idea. We did do a Halloween in July once.
Halloween in July?
Yeah. Yeah, the freaks do come out at night, especially in the summer. Two on 6 5. Sorry.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't ever do that again. Anyway.
Sorry, that was a program reset.
Yeah. I'm going to find the reset button. NXT did it. They found the reset button with JC Jane. This is kind of a thing where she'll be a transitional champion. I imagine it'll be a bridge to whoever is going to step up next.
I love that little the walk up backstage as Vaquero was coming to the ring. You saw all the line of challengers.
Mm-hmm. They almost kind of prefaced that like, hey, it was Stephanie and Julia with Jordan kind of mixed in there, and now they're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to see who's going to be next. It's a challenge for NXT because we talked about how deep their women's division was. And now, with Sol Ruca being the Women's North American Champion, she'd be the next person in my head, logically, that could step up to this. It's going to take someone else because those are three big names that are not going to be there anymore, essentially. I mean,
I'm going to say something that's probably not going to be popular, but it needs to be said. Of the WWE shows, just WWE shows, NXT should never be the hottest show in WWE.
Well, fuck, dude. When Triple H originally had it, first Black and Gold run, Adam Cole, Undisputed Era, that kind of stuff, they were the best show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they didn't draw the same numbers, but it was the best wrestling. They had the best stories.
But I think back then, you mentioned Triple H.
Yeah.
Back then, Triple H and Vince. Yes, they have love for each other, same family.
Well, Vince let him go. He was like, do whatever you want to do with NXT.
Triple H was going out and trying to get the best show.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Shawn Michaels is not.
No.
But, Triple H created the NXT formula.
Yeah.
The winning NXT formula.
Vince didn't care. Vince was like, hey, give me some people that I can use on the main roster that'll make me some money.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, I can do that, but I'm also going to make the show, really good, too.
I'm looking at the Raw women's main event scene. And I know, the hot story is actually right now Becky and Lyra, and then when Bayley comes back. But I'm like, who's Io's next challenger? Not named Rhea Ripley.
Liv is kind of poked around. I mean, Roxanne's going to be involved now because she's involved with Judgment Day, so she'll be a name that's going to get.
And they want multiple storylines too. Yeah. So
and if Stephanie goes to Raw, I mean, Stephanie and Io already had pretty cool match. I mean, great match.
They
could run that back, and people would not be upset.
But my thing is this: I know, break it up NXT, break it up what works with the women's division. Now this is the time to really prove that depth, right?
I was more worried about SmackDown, honestly. That was my division for the women. I was more concerned because Tiffany kind of feels like, what is she really going to do?
Okay.
Nia's not really a thing. I mean, Alexa could be put in that spot, maybe.
We'll see where that Alexa Charlotte story goes.
But, I mean, Jordan Grace makes a lot of sense going over there.
Mm-hmm.
Julia makes a lot of sense going over there. They can use some of that.
But you're right what you said a couple minutes ago about this was more about Stephanie because, remember, she was kind of bailed out when she was forced to give up the North American championship.
Yeah, she defended it one time.
Yeah, like she was bailed out. So in her mind, it's like which box office superstar would agree to a championship match 2 days after main eventing a championship match? Like, which box office superstar would agree to that? Now experience is going to come in, storytelling-wise, where in the future, probably not a good idea for Stephanie to take on a challenge like that.
How would you feel? I didn't think about this till just right now.
Okay.
Seth Rollins is expanding his group. He's the future, but he's looking at the next generation of superstars. Bronson Reed, obviously he has Braun Breaker. Both could be huge. But Stephanie in that group, she doesn't have to talk. Neither do those two. They've got Paul. They've got Seth. This is a bridge for her to get even better with English and to be able to kind of, what better way than to establish a women's star with that group? The obvious choice is, just pick Becky. I don't think they want to do that.
No, because they would have done it already.
Exactly. I think that may be something where...
So I'm not against the idea, but I have to ask the question that probably a lot of people watching right now are thinking.
Does she need it?
No. That's not the question. It is a question, but that's not the question. The question would be, okay, so at that point, would she be obviously, she would have to be slotted as a heel. Would that work right now?
Sure. It's not like she's cut these amazing babyface promos to get everyone on her side. She got over because Booker T went, like a bunch of times.
So she'll be cheered the first time she appears on screen.
Of course.
How would they make her a heel in that group upon arrival, basically?
She could attack Io. People love Io now. That's the thing. She's, for whatever reason, she's gotten over as a babyface. She can make it a point to attack. I mean, it could be Rhea too. There could be people she goes after to establish that she is.
I think it has to be vicious.
Oh, of
because
course.
I think Stephanie right now is just as over as a babyface as Io, maybe a bit more, right? Because of it's just Stephanie. There's just a presence about her. I'm not saying Io Sky doesn't have the presence.
No.
Io Sky has the charisma, and she's doing a great job. She's above expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephanie Vakir has the presence. So I think it has to be something like really heelish. I don't know. Maybe you don't even start with Io Sky. Maybe you go after the most over woman in WWE, and that's Rhea Ripley, if you were to go that route.
That'd be, honestly, a non-title SummerSlam match because it's 2 nights now.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie Vakir versus Rhea Ripley.
I would sign up for that.
Hell yeah. Winner of
I
that
would
could be a number
definitely
one
sign
contender
up for
then. That gives them both a path because I'm assuming Rhea's not going to win Money in the Bank. So
Mhm.
hopefully, I don't know what they're doing with that anymore because it's supposed to be new stars, right? But they have a couple of them on the women's side. The men's side looks like it's going to be a bunch of old guys trying to climb ladders. But I don't know. I mean,
I was just trying to.
yeah. Take the tennis ball off the bottom of the walker and throw it at him.
Yes.
But I mean, I honestly.
Change the money to make to a rock climbing match.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, that's a Vince Russo idea. My bad.
Yeah.
That ought to be a new segment. Vince Russo idea of the week.
I'd rather not for my sanity. And then we're only going to watch AEW. Yeah, I'm sure I'd be thrilled.
Championship stick on a pole match.
But I'm just thinking about like what's next for her, and that would actually show progression too of like the frustration of I did too much, too quickly, on my own. Really didn't have any help. Now I can have this group behind me, rocking on my back, and I can put a target on someone. I've got the wisdom of Paul Heyman and Seth, with the youth of other couple guys to be around me to protect me and stuff too. I mean,
I think if they speed that up quickly, right, and not to play it off like, oh, is she a babyface or is she a heel?
She could cost.
You need to establish if they go with your route.
Yeah,
they need to establish that immediately.
So, could she possibly cost Rhea Money in the Bank? Would that be big enough? Because they're still going to cheer when she first comes out to interfere in the match. But could she?
I got another idea to go along with that. What's the move that Booker? What's the name of the move? Do you know the name of the move?
Oh, they talked about it on I think on a podcast somewhere. Oh,
When we post this on TikTok, in the comment, the name of the move.
I know
Bridge,
she
whatever.
brought it up. She brought it up.
Okay, so she's on the main roster. She's on the main roster. She teased. The fans want that move. She turns over. She gets ready to do it, and then
just throws him down.
Throws him down.
And doesn't do it and walks away.
Walks away.
Fans
would hate that.
She's got the ability to get everyone against her because she's so good at this.
Mm-hmm.
That over time they will come back bigger than they are now.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole point of Rhea being a heel, right? They put her in the group. She works. She played the persona.
Yep.
Eventually, people love her.
Yep.
If your work is good, if you're able to cut promos, if you're able to do everything, people will love you. So she can get all of that down the road here.
Now, again, that's not to say that, hey, if you bring her up as a babyface, even on SmackDown, it would still be money. You still got somebody, to watch. You still got some feuds to, really plug in.
Well, apparently she's going to Raw. She's
going to Raw. Apparently Jordan
SmackDown.
Grace is over on SmackDown.
I like them keeping Stephanie and Julia separate, too.
Oh, yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
I actually would not mind if Stephanie didn't move up immediately. I think you could still do a little bit more here, because again, her ego, you could do the ego thing for one more week, where
but then we did,
it was a fluke night.
But then we did that with Trick, where he should have moved up a year ago, and they decided just to keep him there. And
I know, and that's the only.
It took a while. He eventually found something that works, but it was a long time. We were like, man, what is Trick doing? He needs to move on. Just get up there.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Trick.
Is he the most accomplished NXT superstar of all time?
Wow, that's a bomb question.
Well, think about it. So he's won the Iron Survivor,
mm-hmm.
that crazy gauntlet tournament, whatever it's called. He won the North American Championship. He's a 2-time NXT champion. There's only a handful of guys that won it multiple times.
Correct.
He's been on the brand now for a couple years. He's won a bunch.
Well, think about.
He's won.
Let me think
Stand
about
and
this.
Deliver main event. He's the biggest show of the year. He's won that main event.
Well,
I don't
who's
know.
the most accomplished?
Finn is probably
who's some of the most accomplished NXT superstars to have come out of the NXT program? They're doing great now, but Finn.
Joe was a huge NXT guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Samoa was the first one to win the championship twice.
Yeah.
Finn's won it multiple times. Cole was big.
Adam Cole.
He just never really got the main roster.
I would say DIY.
Yeah,
both.
Both of them.
If you're thinking about what are the top storylines in NXT history, DIY, together and then the breakup.
Yep. Well, and then Trick and Mello is a huge thing.
Bailey and Sasha had the NXT Brooklyn main event,
and women's,
but that was more of a
Separate
historic moment, But
I think of Asuka when I think of
Asuka.
NXT dominance, yeah.
Asuka never lost.
No, she didn't.
In NXT. Yeah, I would say honestly,
he might be.
I would say Trick and Asuka are 1 and 2. You could debate who's in front. Maybe 1A and 1B, only because Asuka never lost in NXT. But Trick, you're right. You're talking about.
He's been there forever too. He's been there for 3-4 years now. It's a long time to be in developmental and win a lot.
And you're seeing a situation where, man, they're really taking care of Trick. They know the investment that they have in Trick Williams, and they want to make sure everything's right with Trick Williams. We talked on this program months ago about what's next for Trick Williams. It's just shooting him up to the main roster. And maybe if Vince McMahon was still around, that was probably the case.
He would have been there and been released already.
Well, I don't think he would have been released. I think he would have been there, and then we would have been saying, can we give him a storyline? Can we give him something?
Well, it'd be sink or swim. He'd be the main event, or it'd be what are we doing with him?
Now, we asked 5-6 months ago, what more can Trick Williams do to expand his character? This is your answer. This is it right here. Stealing the other. First of all, winning the championship away from one of pro wrestling's most popular superstars in Joe Hendry. And then not just that, I love the fact that the TNA president, or whoever it was, I think TNA representative president.
It was the president.
President, he was there.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the little detail on NXT on Tuesday where, when Mike Santana came out, did his thing, Santino appeared on the screen, But he didn't overstep his authority. He said, "Hey, I talked with Ava,
Yeah.
and this is what's going to go down." So this is the one story where, hey, Trick Williams has a new set of opponents. There is nothing else Trick Williams can do in NXT. Nothing more he could do in NXT. But you have a new set of guys at TNA. You can do something short term. Eventually, you're going to have your rematch with Joe. And I'm curious as to what's next for Joe himself, because he was not on the show on Tuesday. I don't think that's a bad call.
I think they'll be on TNA. I don't know when they tape, because I don't think they do live shows really frequently.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I haven't really looked too deep into that. But, I mean, I imagine he'll be there for those tapings whenever they do them again, or if they've done them, they'll be airing whenever on whatever they think it's like YouTube.
Usually Thursdays.
Yeah.
Thursdays.
So I mean, we'll see.
I found out I actually have the channel.
He's not there. There's been like people talking about he needs to go to the main roster. He's not on a WWE contract. There's a thing, if you've noticed, that's pretty regular with these guys. They don't appear on Raw or SmackDown. It's NXT and TNA. It's not Raw, SmackDown, NXT, TNA. The only place where you may get a little bit of leeway with that is the Worlds Collide pay-per-view, because it's billed as this crazy cross-promotional, everyone's available, that kind of stuff.
NXT, AAA.
Yeah, Raw and SmackDown, because Phoenix is going to be in that match.
Chad Gable.
Yeah, Gable's going to be in a match. So, like, that's where you're seeing it's going to be very rare.
Love the setup, by the way, for the 4-way match on NXT, too. Like, they just hit it out.
They just forgot about Javon Evans. I'm like, oh, you need a match. Yeah. Do that. Yeah. You kind of like jumping and stuff. Be in there.
It's not often that a pro. We used to say this at radio, and you could do what is 52 TV shows a year, with NXT and all the main shows, 52 shows. It's not often that you could say, man, this was damn near a perfect show. NXT had damn near a perfect show this past Tuesday. That will be very difficult to repeat next week. They won't do it, but it will. It's just.
I mean, they got a lot of things going for them right now. I know a lot of people are high in AEW right now too, from what their pay-per-view, and I guess on Wednesday they didn't have a terrible show, which is good. But
they had a pretty decent beginning and end,
Yeah.
Which we'll get into a little bit. I got some thoughts on that. But I asked Rebecca too about Joe Hendry. I'm like, because we had a watch party.
Yeah.
Honestly,
we watched TNA.
Honestly, it was because of Trick Williams and Joe Hendry. And I asked her, I'm like, so why do you like Joe Hendry? Like why? I didn't want to make it sound like.
Are you prepared for that answer?
I know. I wanted to make it as clear, but I legitimately wanted to know. And her first response, well, he's hot. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, and then the second response.
Of course.
The second response, the charisma is on point. It's been on point. He really has built himself over social media over time. And really, he built his own character. And also, she said, too, the wrestling's good. So it's not just, you can get by the social media thing, which we talked about on this show last year.
But Anthony, he doesn't do triple backflips, and he doesn't jump out of the ring and hit him with 14 steel chairs and push him back in for a 1 count. What are you talking about?
He
doesn't use a staple gun multiple times in a match.
Unbelievable. But she said one other thing too that
Come on, man.
that caught my ear. She said that Joe Hendry is everything that Elias wishes he could be.
That's interesting.
Wow, yes, you have the singing, and yes, you have, the concerts and the stage presence, but
he's got the promo ability. He looks great. I had him and Karrion Kross in the why can't they get over category. Elias got over.
Yeah.
He was a mid-carder, but he got over in that spot where people were chanting with him and singing with them and they were interested. He had that 2 to 3 year run where it was like, wow, people are actually really on board with this
his
dude.
Character got over. I don't know if his wrestling ever got over.
But the matches, because it was all about that,
mm-hmm.
people didn't really pay attention. Dude can work. Dude can wrestle pretty well. He was so over the top with everything else that he never paid attention to his actual in-ring stuff, and they never really cared to tell a story with his in-ring stuff. It was always just hit a couple moves, do your finish, whatever, or get heat on him or get beat or whatever. The Cena thing was quick. That was the Doctor of Thugonomics thing when Cena came out as that. Just, AA'd him and left. that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah,
there wasn't
right.
really much there. Like it was kind of sucked. Like it was like, okay, when you know he has talent, he's doing that with TNA now. But I mean, I don't know. That was always one of my big questions too. Like, what's going on with him? But,
Right, with Elias.
But you think Joe's been able to find the niche with that, and then obviously turn it up to like 12?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And now it's going to be intriguing on the TNA side of things. And this is where Trick's going to. Again, I love that Trick was like, you guys don't measure up to me. Like, you guys are chumps. You guys don't measure up to me at all.
Hollywood Trick.
What's going to be nice is, okay, how desperate are these TNA stars going to be? Because they just lost they lost everything. When you work for one thing and it's not even in your building,
Yeah.
like how.
I don't buy Mike Santana being the final boss of TNA.
No, absolutely
I
not.
buy that as a nice first challenge, but then there's going to be someone, whether it's Joe or someone's got to step up.
He is somebody who you could prove. Hey, we need somebody on the mic who could talk.
They're not going to have a SummerSlam show like during that weekend. I think it's going to be either the week after or something like that, like Heat Wave or whatever it's called or something. If it's big enough, can we because it's 2 nights? Could we get Trick Williams and Joe Hendry the rematch at SummerSlam for the TNA World Title?
I believe so. I think so.
People be into it, and that'd be a huge. People were talking about what's TNA getting out of this. Well,
because
I mean,
honestly,
get a good match on SummerSlam.
Honestly, I do see a world where Joe Hendry regains the championship.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I do.
Because Trick's not going to be champ forever.
And remember, to your point, because his TNA deal is probably not done until January, December, whatever it
It's
is.
supposed to be fall, I think.
He goes through this adversity.
Yeah.
He regains the championship. And then whoever's next on the pipeline, could be Mike Santana, could be whoever's next in the TNA pipeline, could beat Joe, and then Joe's on his way. But I want to see Joe evolve. It's great that he's in kayfabe terms. It's great that he's in the Royal Rumble competing. It's great that he appeared at WrestleMania. It's great that he's doing all these other extra things for NXT and WWE programming. That's cool. But, dude, you lost our championship. And I don't want to see and this is what Dolph was talking about. Oh, it's okay. Try again next time. This ain't no try again next time. No.
That's why he's not the first person to challenge again.
I love it.
He's going to have to do something to earn the trust of TNA management back to be able to get back to that match, to try and bring the title back home.
It's in my opinion, the hottest story in pro wrestling. It's the reason why we've talked about this story. Honestly,
but Hangman, it's
3
been
weeks.
It's been 3 years of build up, and he burned houses down literally, and he did all these things to finally get to this moment where they can Avengers assemble into one situation.
He
where
burned
everyone,
one house.
Yeah,
He burnt one house.
Yeah,
burnt it down. Wait a minute, is that Seth Rollins thing? I thought he burnt down houses.
no, he burned down the establishment.
He's just burning it down. Yeah.
Now they just say it in the song. When's the last time he set anything on fire?
I don't know.
Does he even start his own grill? We don't know.
I think the man does that. Okay, that's cold. I think. Do you believe Seth Rollins barbecues?
Yes.
Does he grill? Okay.
I believe. I wasn't there, man, but I could tell you probably he does. Yeah.
So tonight, when you see this, John Cena's returning to SmackDown. Cody Rhodes is returning. I think also Bianca Belair is returning.
Yeah, with her broken fingers.
Yeah. So SmackDown gonna be a little busy tonight.
Good. It's still 3 fucking hours.
Your thoughts on that?
Sorry. He's into his game. We're good. My son's here for the second consecutive week. You doing okay? Okay, cool.
If you missed the news, the reports are that USA Network is happy about SmackDown being 3 hours.
Who's not happy about it? Everyone else.
And it's
God.
It's going to stay at 3 hours at least
Mainly
until
me.
the fall.
Make it 2 hours for the love of the good Lord.
I wouldn't mind if it was from 7 to 10 if you're going to do 3 hours.
I would mind. Make it 2 hours, please.
Yeah, they just got to figure. I don't.
Give me my life back.
Hey.
Watch enough wrestling.
Hey, listen. They're keeping that third hour warm so that when Chrisley Knows Best returns this fall, we'll be ready to go.
Oh, we've talked about AC/DC and the Chrisleys on the show. I'm glad we're giving our pop culture references still.
Listen. When Joe Exotic is ready to go next year, we'll be good to go.
Once he finds the...
Hey, Tiger King. Tiger King was the show of April 2020.
He's got to take whatever Magic Johnson takes so he can heal up. And I'll be good to go.
Hey, listen. In order to be, according to what I heard on TV this week, Magic Johnson, a lot of these other stars in the NBA were family men, but not Anthony. Yeah, where he has to be married. So, boy, can't you tell I love basketball media? Idiots. My favorite promo of the week.
Eventually, we got back.
Boy,
that road.
Tyrese Halliburton is not a superstar, even though he makes clutch plays every game of the Eastern Conference Finals, but he's not a superstar.
Hey, Pete, you see that? We got back on the road for like 2 seconds, and then...
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, why is basketball in a rough shape that it is? No, it's fine. It's just you idiots don't know. R-Truth is my favorite promo of the week because of his promo from last week.
Yeah.
R-Truth has done a great job. Look, you only have 2 weeks to sell your match, and it's a non-title.
I tell you what, the reason why he's the promo of the week is, one, there wasn't a lot of strong promos this week, but also, two, when's the next time we're going to have R-Truth in for my favorite promo of the week? And it's deserving, because it was actually, every time he showed up on camera leading up to the match with John, I wanted to see the match.
Oh, absolutely.
I was pissed it wasn't for the title. I think he deserved at least to have a title match just from all the work he's put in over the years. If Miz can be a 2-time WWE champion, we could have at least gave R-Truth a title match.
Yeah.
And I love Mike, but again, come on, levels. I mean, he should be able to do this. Nevertheless, a great job by Ron Cena of being able to get everyone invested and get everyone on board and to really play into it. It adds to the whole lore of John and what he's got going on. So,
and the story that he told, we're going to play the cut here in about a few seconds. The story that he told in this minute-long clip about why this match is important and the overall story arc of the John Cena retirement tour, I think is really, really interesting. Everything that R-Truth said here, and it's my favorite promo of the week, courtesy of WWE.
I don't like who you've become, John. I don't believe you happy. He's not happy. You are the greatest of all time. He the greatest of all times, y'all. I don't know if I can bring you back, but I'm gonna try. You're not gonna take my joy away from me, John Cena.
good line.
You want to ruin wrestling? So if I want to save wrestling, I got to save you. Now, I don't want to have to put my hands on you. But if I have to, I will beat the ever-living hustle, loyalty, respect right back in your ass.
I'm going to be honest. That might have been one of the best promos we've had since introducing this element.
And then we left out the part where he likened him to Gollum.
Right.
Where he was like, oh, Cena wants power. It's like he's that guy from the Lord of the Rings. He's sitting there shining up his precious. I thought I died. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. He did not just do that.
He did. It was great.
That's what I'm talking about. You know what you're getting with Ron Cena. And I mean, he's going to be able to get people invested and make people entertained, or get people entertained too. I mean,
well, the cool thing, if you watch, when you watch movies or you watch TV shows, sometimes there's a character that comes along that's not meant to be like the final boss. It's not meant to be like he's not a main character. It's not a main character, but it's a necessary side character that gets in the spotlight. And yes, the main character beats the side character.
He's the opening villain in most Marvel movies that usually gets beat right away in the first sequence.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the guy that gets thrown in jail right away or whatever it is. He's a side part of it that may show up later to give you a plot point, but he's not the main point of the story.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll give you.
Though he made points that are tied into the
everything.
overarching thing.
Everything.
Yeah.
So even starting with, look, R-Truth is not out here trying to save pro wrestling, even though he likes wrestling and this is what he's trying to save John Cena from himself. That was the story. He's trying to, and the guy that put Ron Cena through the table was not John Cena in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, wait a minute, where was the John Cena that he grew up with over the last 20-some years? Where was that John Cena? He was trying to bring him back.
Yeah.
But I just finished up. This show on Netflix called Cobra Kai.
And just say Cobra Kai. I think most people know of all the pop culture reference.
You know the sad thing?
Karate Kid's coming out again in a couple weeks.
I think it's
Another
out
one.
today.
Or is it today? I don't know.
Karate Kid Legends. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm going to watch it, though.
I never watched Cobra Kai. I know of it. But I
It's
never,
a great show.
I stopped watching Karate Kid after the third one because I didn't really.
So
I was over it.
the first one's the OG. This is me breaking down Karate Kid, even though I just started watching this year.
Yeah,
The first one, OG.
it's great.
Great.
The second one was good too.
Second one, pretty good.
I liked it.
Third one,
Yeah.
right? But I like Cobra Kai because it actually spins the story forward. It's not a recreation of the movie. It's the series is spinning forward. Now, yes, it's a little cartoonish. Like, yeah, are you gonna have kids every day involved in karate matches outside of in the hallways of your school? Probably not. But the stories are there. One of the characters in the story, his name is Stingray.
What a name! His parents named him that, or what?
He's an adult.
Oh my god!
He's an adult.
Can you imagine? This is my son. Oh, what's his name? Stingray. What? Like the thing that killed Steve? Yeah, it's crazy. I was so impacted by that story. I decided to.
So on the
G'day, Stingray.
So on the show,
Crocky.
This grown adult named Stingray wanted to recreate.
I'm never gonna get over that.
Wanted to recreate his karate day. Obviously, this character is absolutely ridiculous, and for the most part,
Stingray has regrets. Shocker.
Yeah,
his name is fucking Stingray. Sorry.
So for who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Look at us.
So for 95% of the show, absolute comedy act.
Yeah.
Of course, his name is Stingray. He's a dog.
Have watched 0 episodes. I can tell you right now, it's probably not going to be.
There was a part in the show where all of a sudden, without giving away the show, somebody broke into his home, and all of a sudden he became a central figure of the series for like an episode. That's our truth. Okay.
Someone broke into his home and found him with like 10 stingrays in a tank. And they were like, oh. That reminds me of Cobra Kai, Season 2, Episode 4. Like, what the fuck?
Episode 7.
Okay.
Chill.
Okay. I have my episodes mixed up because, I totally watched this
Actually, it was Season 4, Episode 8. Season 4.
The fact that you have that kind of call and retention is fantastic.
Really I made that up. I think it was Season 4.
You were just missing glasses. Okay.
Yeah. I think it was Season 4. But, yeah, great storytelling. And R-Truth had 2 weeks. John Cena. And you know what?
Cena didn't do stuff for this.
Right.
At all.
Cena
just
showed up. But this also tells me, too, John Cena, I would imagine, along with Triple H and TKO and whatever, he has pretty much full control, full reins over who does he want to face in this retirement tour. And you think of all the big names. We're going to run it back with Cody. CM Punk's on that list at some point.
Maybe. I don't know how.
Well, yeah, we'll see. And then, other names that's on that list. And and you have to imagine either John Cena himself or somebody said R-Truth, and Cena signed off on it. And there's a reason, and Saturday's main event.
Joe Hendry is still trying to get that match.
Yeah.
Brought it up in the Van Vliet interview again.
Yeah, we'll see. But my favorite promo of the week, R-Truth, Ron Cena, promo god.
Ron Cena, a.k.a. Stingray.
Stingray.
R-Truth.
Now, if somehow, some way, something happens to you on the road and you get a Stingray or in the water or something, you get beat up by Stingray or you have a Stingray.
Pet Stingray that you didn't get de-stungified? What's the term for?
I really have no proper way to transition
it's like
into
a
this
bee
commercial.
sting?
If you have a Stingray Corvette, you can insure it with.
See, that's why Pete's here. Every once in a
There
while,
you
there's
go.
a nugget of gold that comes out of that microphone. It's great.
What should fans who might be watching you here in Cleveland for the first time, hey, they look you up on the website, on the app, they call you, what should they expect?
Yeah, I mean, first off, between me and my team, you're going to get one of us. If you want to deal directly with the man, you're more than welcome to. I don't mind. I love working with customers because I look at it this way. I have a lot of good life experience financially. I've said 12 years of banking. I've got now 2.5 years of insurance. I have a lot of money and just kind of life and financial stuff knowledge. So that's what I look to do, is to truly help people get from that point A to point B financially. It's not about just, saving money on auto insurance, sure, but if I can kind of turn that into a better discussion, really help people understand what actually insurance does, why it's important, because it's not a tangible. I joke when I leave that I lock the office door so no one steals all the insurance, but there's not just insurance laying around. So there's just it's kind of a mystery kind of component in people's lives that they think is a scam and all the different things you hear. It's not. It can feel like it sometimes. I'm not even going to say that it doesn't, but if you understand how it works and understand and have a person who you can go to help with those kind of situations, that's what we're here to do. That's what my team's here to do. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I take a lot of pride and have a lot of passion in, obviously, as you can probably tell. So,
Well, I know you said the joke, hey, we locked the door so no one steals the insurance, but it's exactly right.
I have to show you guys this, and then we'll talk about Mike. So I don't know if you can see this on the Zoom in. This is Stingray.
It's exactly. That's not Kevin McAllister's brother, is it? Like the older dude? Like he kind of looks like him, but I'm not sure. Yeah, but that's why. Yeah, Buzz. Yeah,
Paul Walter Heiser.
it might be. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But that's Stingray.
he kind of looks like.
Yeah. So imagine if Stingray was competing in WWE
He wouldn't be.
for like 20 years. He's been in the work hard. And then all of a sudden becomes a central figure for like 2 weeks. We did a main event for Saturday night's main event. Here's Stingray.
God, hilarious. You know what isn't hilarious though?
Go ahead.
Because you were gonna say it if I wasn't.
I know. Go ahead.
This is kind of funny because Mike is pretty hilarious, but his insurance isn't, man. It takes care of you guys. It's Mike Fabert, our favorite State Farm rep. Want to appreciate Mike for sticking with us through the summer months here all the way through into the fall, of course. His website, myfavoriteagent.com. What does he do? Well, pretty much anything you need when it comes to insurance, whether it's your car, your home. Of course, we talk about life insurance. We talk about pet insurance. That was something we had him on a few weeks ago, and he kind of smartened us up on a little bit about when it comes to what they cover, what they don't, how they cover it. Of course, it's real simple. Like I said, myfavoriteagent.com is the website. The phone number for our audio listeners, 216-932-6900. That's 216-932-6900.
His office located in Cleveland Heights on the corner of Lee and Mayfield. Can't miss this in the same building as Starbucks. So right there, Mike from State Farm is going to take care of you. Not only a professional insurance agent that's going to take care of you, he's a professional wrestler.
He was a professional beer drinker this past show for Exodus, yeah.
Oh, man, I didn't get the picture. But, yeah, he was – I think he shotgunned a beer for the first time.
He did. Well, he tried.
Or he attempted to shotgun a beer.
He eventually got it all down after everyone left.
The one beef I have with Baker Mayfield, Baker May shotgunning a beer look easy.
Well, when you party in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of a requirement.
You can party anywhere, yeah.
Kind of a requirement.
Any of those old Big 12 schools, like Texas, Oklahoma, any of those schools, I feel like you kind of have to know what's up. Even a lot of the SEC schools, too.
Yeah, true.
Like, you can't, like, it's part of the application to Alabama. Can you shotgun a beer? If you say no, they reject you.
We were at the boys are back in town last Friday, a week ago. We were there. You can catch the replay on the official NWA YouTube channel.
Everything we just said is true, by the way. They did drink beer on the side the entire time. Beal Fest was the thing.
Yeah.
Huge celebration. It was marking the year anniversary of Sam Beal and Man Bun Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
The actual names, full on, being in partnership together.
Yeah.
It was wild. A lot of people got drunk.
Right.
Like right next to us.
Right. Yeah, we were right there. We were right there. And the fans were right there, too. Check out the main event, too. Dante Casanova.
Oh, my God.
Brandon Beretta.
What a match.
Incredible. Absolutely
For all
incredible.
the people that we love the wrestling, the work rate, all that stuff, these two guys can hold their own outside of the ring too. They're both charismatic. They both have that persona. In the ring, possibly two of the best independent wrestlers. Watch them because they'll be on the shows we talk about fairly soon. Both of them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely great. The 6-man tag. I have to admit something too. Duke from TME.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dude's got eyes.
Listen,
They're gonna pop out of his head every single time.
So during the intermission, this dude was going ham.
He's a dude underneath Tiffany, the one I'm pointing to right there.
Yep, that's him.
They're obviously both TME huge dudes. Like they're huge.
Uh-huh.
But he's got the eyes.
Yeah.
The crazy eyes.
Yeah.
Think about any movie you've watched with someone that's like they're about popping out of his head.
So
it's unbelievable.
So during the intermission, I went to get drinks for Rebecca and I. And Kyle obviously is there too. I went to get drinks. I got the TME drink. Like the drink I got was named after TME. And so I had 2 cups. And Duke's over. He's like, "Hey, you didn't get one for me?" All right. "Hey, you didn't get one for me?" I got it's your drink. Okay, I see how. You better not see me in the ring. Believe me, I won't.
He was doing that to everyone.
He did
Just
to
random
everybody.
fans. Because they have an area where they like go back either before or after the match, whatever, they sign stuff, whatever. It's an independent show. It's awesome. You get to kind of meet some people too. And he's just walking back. Just yelling at random people. Just like
I was startled. I had the 2 drinks.
him and Big Country, they both were just killing it.
Dude,
yeah.
I was startled. I had the 2 drinks, and then like the one I kept the one that I spilt a little bit.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Well, man, great stuff again. The NWA YouTube channel, the official YouTube channel. Search for Live Territory Showcase. I believe under the live section, and you'll see not only this show, but their previous Exodus Pro shows all ready to go. The other big talking point from this weekend, I might have to take the reins for this segment for a little bit, was the open and the close. And we mean the open, the men's side of things, Hangman over Will Ospreay on Sunday. And we're going to talk a little bit. We have a clip from Tony Khan we're going to play later in the show because people are getting up in arms. I'm not even really fully upset at Tony, but people are getting up in arms because WWE is scheduling shows against AEW.
So I have not watched this on purpose. I decided to wait to watch it live during the show.
Watch what?
The clip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to watch AEW. Not this week. We'll announce that at the end of the show, too. I'm doing something that I may regret, but...
ain't no May. You told me. I'm like, man, we'll see if he follows through with this.
It's going to suck, but I'm going to do it.
All right, so Hangman Page is going to main event against Moxley.
Yeah.
And then the winner of the Women's Own Heart Cup, Mercedes Moné, she will face Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. And in what I believe at this moment to be the main event of all. But again, 7 weeks, a lot can happen.
It's going to be Hangman and...
Lot can happen.
They can't not do that.
But here's my thing. I will give a little bit of credit where credit's due. Number one, thank you for the AC because it feels great in here. But I will give credit, though. Listen, Swerve, here's the part where it's like, okay, they're starting to figure out a little bit about storytelling. Hangman wins this opportunity, right? And I'm not really all in on Hangman having this opportunity, but fine, right?
He's the best written character in all of sports entertainment, of all of pro wrestling.
He's a pillar of AEW. So, okay, fine.
Yeah, those
right?
pillars change often, don't they?
Right. But he's a pillar of AEW. 2-3 years. He cut a pretty decent babyface promo by their standards, bringing the story home. I do like the fact that Swerve came out. It was like this whole let's be cool unity for the team. No, you burnt my house down. And they played a clip from a couple months ago from AEW Dynasty where the Young Bucks was thanking Hangman Page for taking out Swerve.
Well, they said that we did it for you.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't thank him. They told him we did this for you.
Yeah.
Like, because we know you don't want him to win.
So I like that. Oh, you're trying to be cool with somebody that you have history with.
At least they're showing stuff from before and trying to tie things together. People were like, oh, you have to watch the shows. No one watches the shows, so how am I supposed to know? But we talked about it the other couple shows ago when we watched Dynamite. There's no replays during the show. They showed a clip from previous to explain why these two people are in the ring and why there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time they actually maybe tried to appeal to a larger audience besides the sickos that just watch it every week. Like, if you want to grow your audience and continue to build and get back to where you started and beyond it, you have to start doing that more. And it leads to usually better stories because people have reference points. Even if I've watched AEW for all 5 years, I may miss some stuff or forget some things. It'd be nice to kind of get a little bit of a recap here and there.
Well, and that's what's been good about NXT was like, listen, I'll be honest, I was not consistently watching NXT from start to finish for a while, but like these last few weeks, I'm like, okay, I'm caught up. I'm ready to go. And I didn't have to do outside research to be caught up. The TV show did the job of catching me up and boom, I'm locked in. I'm right there ready to go.
Yep.
And AEW is starting to come around a little bit with that. I'm not 100% intrigued as far as the Will Ospreay side of things. Like the whole we have to follow this man. We have to. Again, it's the whole
I smell a heel turn.
I hope so.
Well, after Hangman probably wins the championship, because if Moxley wins it all in, my God.
Well,
wow.
Honestly,
that dude's tone deaf then if he did that happens.
Well, with Hangman getting this opportunity instead of Ospreay, I do think the Darby Allin thing is in play. I think it's in play.
Him coming back, maybe making it a triple threat, or him coming back and helping them get over the hump. I think more likely now, they're basically copying the end of the Bloodline story, where, okay, the greatest forces in WWE need to come together.
Yeah.
Jay's over as hell. Cena shows up. Undertaker shows up. Now it's Ospreay's here. Here comes Swerve to help his hated rival. It's because it's for the greater good of AEW. And then Darby Allin finally gets down from that mountain and decides to kickflip back into AEW. Maybe he'll hit someone with a skateboard again. I have no idea what he's going to do. But
that'll be the final blow.
Yeah.
The skateboard.
That's the choke slam from Undertaker to Rock.
The
skateboard to Claudio from Darby Allin.
The
there you
skate
go.
from heaven.
Yeah,
that'll be the
I hated that reference.
That'll be the closing shot.
More than you know.
That'll be it. But if that is the route, they got 45 days to solve it.
At least they have some time.
And the one thing, what made AEW for more people than now, what made AEW work back in the day when Vince was screwing things up and rushing things and everything, AEW in its early days only had 4 pay-per-views. AEW at its best, and Tony Khan as a writer at his best, is when he has 7-8 weeks to write out a story, to write out something. He doesn't do a good job writing out stories when a pay-per-view is in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It just doesn't. Like, if he was handed the John Cena R-Truth story, would have been a fail. But you give him 45 days. He's obviously taking this seriously. Obviously, AEW is.
We're misremembering things from 4 to 5 years ago because he did not write good stories in any amount of time, and that's why people stopped watching the show until Punk signed with the company, and then the numbers went back up, and then they decided to exodus him out of the company, and the numbers went down again. So his writing's never been good. I think we have a false pretense of the goodwill a lot of people gave him as good storytelling. It was not. The storytelling was awful, and it always has been. The writing has always been awful. There hasn't been good writing at all. They've had good matches. The pay-per-views, can't miss pay-per-view. Everyone's doing the crazy stuff. That's great. They cannot tell week-to-week storytelling in this company, and it's always been that way. It just started off as everyone went, this is going to be great. It's a new company, all this money. Vince is messing everything up. It's the goodwill thing. People have come around to that now, and now they're at a point where this is where they're at. They're probably not going to get too much worse than this as far as the viewership unless they really decide to just tank things. But they have an opportunity to fix some things. If I'm Tony, I'm bringing people in. Like, we have an opportunity with all this now, with our 2 co-main events, to bring a lot of people in, to get a lot of people back that stopped watching this show. Our numbers were 3 times as big as they were when we started to now.
Right.
How can we get these people back? It starts with this. You can't mess this up. But as we know with Tony Khan, usually he finds a way
Well, the one area where I'll just like push back on a little bit, I think stories early on with Cody were fine.
Cody was writing them.
Because Cody was writing them.
Yeah.
I think stories early on with Chris Jericho was fine because Chris Jericho was writing his stories.
There's a lot of
I think there was a lot of your senior guys that have been in the industry. They were writing. Some of their feuds were fine because they were writing their stuff.
Well, Chris
and
Jericho
Tony was
doesn't
filling the gaps.
Chris Jericho, talk about someone riding his wave of being relevant 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was. Like a lot of the stuff was bad. They were just new. It was different. Doesn't mean it was good. It was different than what WWE was presenting. So people, this is going to be great. They didn't stick around. It's been 5 years. They've lost 2/3 of their audience they had before.
I don't think their drop, if we're talking pre-CM Punk, I don't think their drop was substantial.
It was big.
I think I think at some point their momentum stopped.
They had 2019, and people can blame the pandemic, but whatever. I mean, they found a way to get through it. They had Daly's Place. That was their normal spot anyway. They had something.
And their
there.
environment during the pandemic was better than WWE's before they moved to the Thunderdome.
Exactly. So like they had that kind of working for them too, and they were also in Florida, which didn't hurt during the pandemic.
Yeah.
The coronavirus didn't exist down in Florida when the things happened, but nevertheless, I'm telling you, it was all goodwill. The writing was not good, and it shows. And Punk came back to wrestling, not just he went from company to company. He came back to wrestling, period.
After 7 years, I think, at that point.
People were going to lose their mind, whether it was WWE, AEW, TNA, MLW, New Japan. Didn't matter where he was going to go. They were going to get a big number increase because CM Punk is a star you can draw money with. There is no one on this roster right now that is a star you can draw money with. They have money because they signed a TV deal, not because someone or one person or two people or whatever are like, wow, where would we be without them? If Hangman Page is gone tomorrow, is AEW still going to draw the same numbers? Probably. If John Moxley is gone tomorrow, is AEW still going to draw the same numbers? Of course they will. Ospreay, Swerve, none of these guys are real needle movers yet.
And I think the potential, honestly, I think that's why, in my opinion, they should have went with Ospreay to win this match. Because I think he's the one guy that, through pure wrestling.
You could hook your flag on him if he gets his own head out of his butt when it comes to talking about WWE every day. If he could get out of his own way.
Well, he needs proper coaching, yes.
He needs to learn how to cut a promo properly. Like, that's the thing. And that's not saying everyone in WWE. I think Jey Uso has been dropping the ball a little bit, too, with some of his stuff. He's been walking back and forth forgetting lines. I saw that on Raw. Believe me, I did.
Yeah.
Like,
there were a lot of promos. There were a lot of promos that we did not include in the because it's like it doesn't hold standards at all.
It's just my point. They're missing that part of it. And it's a huge part of storytelling is getting people invested, not just by doing 3 flips or I'm super athletic, so you should watch my wrestling match. Like, actually being able to tell a full story. It's one of the reasons why I've lost a lot of people. I want them to succeed. I just don't think Tony Khan will ever be that person to write the stories necessary to get the people back and keep them.
I do want to briefly talk about the other Tony, which is Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné. They closed on Wednesday night. We know with Mercedes,
it's better when she doesn't talk.
The promos is not that's not her strong suit.
Nope.
And now they have to do something that, hey, Mercedes has the opportunity to main event All In, but it's gonna have to come through promos. So that part's gonna be interesting. I thought here there were some storytelling things that made a little sense to kind of establish this. I like that Tony brought up, wait, Mercedes, you've been here for a year. You've never approached me. Like, you've been here for a year, and I've been champion pretty much for most of that time, and you've never approached me.
You've won every other title, apparently, that's alive today.
I like that. I like that Mercedes brought up that, hey, we fought 10 years ago. Tony, you've changed, but I've changed too. It's the first acknowledgement in a positive spin of I'm no longer the boss, I'm the CEO. So there was a little bit of a positive reinforcement on that front. You have the memorable part at the end of the promo with Tony and sniffing of Mercedes Moné there at the end.
I don't know why.
So
this definitely reads like adolescent, sexually frustrated 33-year-old writes television show. Like it smells of Vince Russo. Crashed. We brought him up earlier, but I mean this kind of writing, unless Tony's actually kicking this in herself, but Tony is writing the entire show now. This is his thing.
Tony Khan, yes,
is writing the entire show. He's writing for people. He's doing all of this. I'm sure Toni Storm has some feedback because she's the champion. She's the most over female on the roster. But, I mean, it reeks of, like, what can we get, our 37-year-olds to live in the basement with mom and dad, audience to go like, oh, that's hot. Like, that's, oh, my God.
Well, and again, it's a start. You got 45 days to lay out a story, and AEW did something different that they normally don't do with Dynamite, and that's open and close with talking, with promos.
They gave it a shot.
So they gave it a shot. I think it was a necessary shot. You're in the ball game. You're in the ball game with both of your top stories heading into your biggest pay-per-view.
But as you know, you may not be able to win the ball game in the first inning, but you sure as shit can lose the game in the first inning if you give up enough runs.
You can't. I don't think that. I think they're off to a decent start. Again, by their standards, it's a decent start. I think with both of their stories, the key is obviously where does it go? Where does it accelerate? Yeah. When you have 45 days to book something, what are some of the side quests that everyone that's on this picture has to go through, even Toni Storm?
Yeah, it's hard not to look at previous experiences to judge how this is going to go. But they do have time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, all we can do is watch what happens.
The one thing I did not like, though, about the opening, the segment that followed was John Moxley match.
Why is the champion wrestling on a show for free?
Now,
he doesn't even broadcast it. He doesn't even have the title with him. Is it in the briefcase? I don't know. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's the part where it's like, that's why I have no faith.
So the part that
I do stuff like that.
So the part I didn't like.
Yeah, John Cena's going to go on second or third in the show, right?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, the part I didn't like, though, Hangman's challenging for Moxley's title. Hangman, if you're gonna have Hangman the challenger, Moxley the champion, in back-to-back segments, which doesn't make sense.
No interaction.
You put Moxley at 9 o'clock if you're going to do that.
Yeah, top of the hour at 9 o'clock, he's your champion. If you're going to put him in some sort of program or a match, yes. I don't recommend doing a match.
So since they're going back-to-back, Hangman needed to stay out there. Or there needed to be some kind of face-off.
Cross paths, whatever.
Cross paths or something. Even if Hangman walked to the back like he was so pissed at Swerve that he didn't want to go to the same entrance. Yeah. So Hangman stormed through the crowd, went to the back, and he came face-to-face with Mox. And you have a face-to-face right there. That's all you have to do.
You don't have to do a huge promo exchange or they don't have to get into a fight. It could be a stare and then a move on. Like, yeah.
It's little things
like
that.
There. Like, it would help. It would, and again, we're nitpicking a little bit too with that kind of stuff when it comes to that interaction. But my problem, again, is the champion of the company is wrestling in a BS match no one's going to care about after they have this huge thing where they talk about him constantly. Like, ears are ringing, I should be out. Like, if you say someone's name in wrestling, it's not just Joe Hendry. Usually it's in general, someone shows up. So I don't understand.
We know what the TNA World Championship looks like.
I forgot what the AEW Championship looks like.
They're fighting for something that doesn't matter. Now, coming up after the break, there's been chatter. Some fans are upset that WWE is scheduling events against AEW. Double or Nothing. Wanted to clear the air for Double or Nothing. WWE puts in NXT Battleground.
NXT.
July 12th. All in. Their WrestleMania. No.
Is it the 12th or the 13th?
It is the 12th.
So that's.
But they're airing it in the afternoon. They're competing against NXT Great American Bash.
Oh.
What's the problem? There's no problem.
They're airing All In at like 3 in the afternoon?
Yes.
What the hell is... Please go to break.
We'll be back right after this. What should fans who might be watching you here in Cleveland for the first time, hey, they look you up on the website, on the app, they call you, what should they expect?
Yeah, I mean, first off, between me and my team, you're going to get one of us. If you want to deal directly with the man, you're more than welcome to. I don't mind. I love working with customers because I look at it this way. I have a lot of good life experience financially. I've said 12 years of banking. I've got now 2.5 years of insurance. I have a lot of money and just kind of life and financial stuff knowledge. So that's what I look to do, is to truly help people get from that point A to point B financially. It's not about just, saving money on auto insurance, sure, but if I can kind of turn that into a better discussion, really help people understand what actually insurance does, why it's important, because it's not a tangible. I joke when I leave that I lock the office door so no one steals all the insurance, but there's not just insurance laying around. So there's just it's kind of a mystery kind of component in people's lives that they think is a scam and all the different things you hear. It's not. It can feel like it sometimes. I'm not even going to say that it doesn't, but if you understand how it works and understand and have a person who you can go to help with those kind of situations, that's what we're here to do. That's what my team's here to do. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I take a lot of pride and have a lot of passion in, obviously, as you can probably tell. So,
well, I know you said the joke, hey, we lock the door so no one steals the insurance, but it's exactly right.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick. With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh. I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Omega Video Marketing. A lot of cool stuff. Again, as we enter into the summer, hard to believe because it's been like 50 degrees all of May, basically.
It's going to be 80 next week all of a sudden.
But it's going to jump to 80 degrees. But as you get ready for summer, get your digital content creation if you're a small business owner, business decision maker, content creator, all of that. Omega Video Marketing has everything you need.
So people are going to be more out and about. They're going to be looking to try new things. It's nice outside. We want to get out. We want to go do something. We want to go somewhere. Make your business, make what you're doing a destination for people. Megan can obviously help you with that really easily by what she's done for us and what she's done for a lot of local and regional businesses here in Northeast Ohio.
MeganRG440 at gmail.com. That's MeganRG440 at gmail.com. And again, go to our Facebook page, the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast with Double A and Kyle. You can see her, the Omega Video Marketing sponsor spotlight there as well. Get the full layout of everything she has to offer. A lot of great stuff. Again, Omega Video Marketing. Before we get to this real quick, you had a lot to say during the commercial. Again, just want to remind people, so that All In show is on... Damn it. The All In show on July 12th, Saturday, live from Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, the Texas Rangers ballpark.
Yep. 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central, the start time for All In.
It's going to be hot. July. You know what? The luck they'll have, it's either going to be 115 degrees or it's going to be like, oh, it's a 60-degree in July. What's going on? It's kind of chilly out here.
Yeah.
Just, God, why? And we had a good point. Tony likes putting on 7-hour shows, so it makes sense to go on at 3 because the main event's not going to happen until like 11.
So I was going to say, they're not going up against Saturday's main event.
People who watch that show are going to put in a shift. You're putting in a full shift on a Saturday. You're going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. Be ready. You are clocking in.
Make sure your ID
card
Are we
watching
works.
that? Are we doing that?
I got $50. That's why we did. But people were making a big fuss. People were making a big fuss about, oh, you're not giving Double or Nothing a chance. Listen.
You want to donate to the AEW pay-per-view fund for us so we can actually watch them and review them? Pay for it. We'll watch them.
The market the market changed, right? Vince McMahon changed the market when he decided to charge $10 a month basically for pay-per-views.
They need the money.
So
That's how they make their money. TV deal and pay-per-views. So they make their money. It's not from Gates at live events.
Until you decide to match the price point on HBO Max. And I don't buy this whole excuse too that like, oh, HBO Max doesn't have the technology to put on live events. They're putting on live events every day with the NBA playoffs, with tennis, any sporting event that TNT Sports is airing.
Oh, God.
It's airing live on HBO Max. Soccer, you name it, baseball, they're putting live events on. If Peacock can find a way, 6 years ago, to put WWE pay-per-views live on their platform, your company started 5 years ago.
Well,
can
you have access to Max? Like, doesn't Max give you access to the pay-per-view and it's like a little bit less? Or has that not come yet?
It's not on the platform.
Jesus.
Not on the
it's
platform.
Just straight up pay-per-view?
Straight up pay-per-view. So even if you watch like on Prime Video or payperview.com, whatever it is, it's still $50.
Profitable company, right?
Like, you're not even giving.
They're making their money from Max, from the Time Warner TV deal, whatever. That's the only way they're.
My thing is like, don't bitch. Excuse me. Don't go out here and say. I got like 6 more words to match yours. Don't say.
Oh, you're not even close.
I know. I'm just talking about today's show. I'm not even talking about the season average.
I've been trying my best.
I know. You can't cry foul if you're charging full price for your pay-per-views.
You can't cry foul if the ball's fair. It's fair.
It's fair. Look, if you want a full history lesson of what happened back in the late 80s, WCW was putting on Jim Crockett Productions was putting on Starrcade. Vince McMahon said, hey, I'm going to put the Royal Rumble on the USA Network. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm going to put it on the USA Network. Counter programming. And even back to the Survivor Series story, or Jim Crockett was put on Starrcade, he put on Survivor Series. And he told pay-per-view distributors, hey, if you air their product over ours, you don't get WrestleMania. That's pretty ballsy. But he was doing that.
Worked.
You got to match the field in order to not complain.
Well, you got to innovate too. You can't just do old things or even try and copy what WWE does. Like, have some creativity and figure something out. When you have all that money, there's got to be a way to do something different that's going to be more fan friendly.
Well, the thing that they were doing in 2019 when they first started, all right, you could make a little case when you're only doing 4 pay-per-views a year.
Yeah. Well, then it feels real special. Like, okay, I need to make sure I have the $50 that day because it only comes a couple times a year, and this is a big deal. It's a huge card. There's a lot of good wrestling going to be on there. I need to make it like I need to do it. But when you have a show every month now, like WWE does, it's kind of like, oh, well, or every other month or close to it.
And again, I'm not sitting here and say like, oh, WWE's like in the clear, because I do fear. There's a bit of fear in me that when this Peacock deal's up, which is up at the end of the year, because of TKO, there's a fear that they may up the price a little bit.
There's up more ticket costs. I mean, they're going to go to Netflix probably full time if they don't just re-sign with Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
And the money they get from that deal to broadcast the rights is going to be more than they'll make 100 times over charging people $20 a show, whatever it is. So they're not going to. That's done.
Yeah.
Because of the streaming networks, because of what they're willing to pay for people to watch, to subscribe to their channels, all that stuff. Like, it's.
Kyle, we have a clip. Pete, I don't know if it's ready. Okay, so.
I have not watched this.
So, to be fair, Tony Khan himself did not bring this up. This was a question presented by a reporter.
Was it from the Wrestling Observer?
From the Scare Your Pants Off Observer. And
of course it was.
I don't know who they were from, but this was after Double or Nothing. Tony Khan at the podium was asked about the competition. So take a look at the clip.
Mark Hoke, 101.5 FM, Las Vegas. How are you feeling about other companies scheduling events on top of and around yours on a consistent basis?
It's pretty consistent. I'd say it's the most consistent event head-to-head scheduling I've seen since Jim Crockett Promotions. Saw a lot of scheduling that went that way. And I can tell you this will go a lot differently than that did, Mark. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, everybody, Tony. By the way,
Courtesy of AEW. Go ahead.
Is his glasses getting bigger every time he gets on the... It's kind of like you see that one guy who always wore a top hat, and the hat just gets a little bit bigger every time you see him. Pinocchio, every time you talk to him, his nose is a little bit longer. Tony Khan's glasses eventually are going to be just over his entire face. But I don't... how would they be different, Tony? What are you going to do? Like, you don't have more money than TKO. I'm sorry. It's a $21 billion company. What is he have a couple billion, the Khan family, but I mean...
Unless Vince McMahon buys the company back. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Dude. It is very different because both companies actually had decent writing too. Just Vince was ruthless, and he undercut them hard because he saw the long game.
Mm-hmm.
The long game here would be like, hey, I think we have better wrestling than WWE. They beat us with overall storytelling. They beat us with promos, but I think our wrestling is better. How can I get more eyes on our wrestling? I could not charge $50 a pay-per-view because I have money. If that was his thing, we're going to get a streaming deal. It's going to be a little lower than maybe what you would expect, but we need to be accessible so people can watch. And so people can watch by only having to have the $9.99 a month max membership or the whatever, Peacock and whatever it is. Pick your streamer, any streamer, Hulu, who gives whatever. Like, find one that would give you a little bit of money. It doesn't have to be a crazy deal,
right?
But makes you accessible so you're wanted. So people are like, I need to watch that, and now I can because it doesn't cost me $50 every 4 to 5 weeks to pay for this.
And the fans have proven that if you have your premium live events, their pay-per-views on a streamer, they're going to pay every month. I think I've been paying for Peacock since the pay-per-view deal started.
Also, it's almost like you guys are the same kind of company when it comes to, they schedule the same. It's almost like you're both wrestling companies, and WWE has WrestleMania every year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of indies or whatever it is, and either other promotions schedule their stuff around WrestleMania on those days because they know it brings people in. Like, make yourself a destination. Quit bitching about everyone else and what they're doing. They do the same things we do, and it would be different. No, you want to know how it'd be different? You wouldn't be a company right now if it was back in the 90s and the 80s and all that stuff when Vince was tearing people's throats out. You'd be unemployed, and your dad'd be mad at you. Like, you have to go back.
It sounded like it was so concerning.
Yeah.
Don't come home.
Yeah. Stay in the guest house. Like, you wouldn't be able to sleep in your bedroom with your 14 TVs or whatever you have going on. Like, you'd be shunned in the Khan household. Like, that's the difference. Like, Vince didn't care if you had money or didn't.
There is some news that broke. I didn't even tell you. It broke like right before we started taping. In August, WWE just booked a show at the old ECW arena for NXT.
Okay.
Now,
They did that earlier in the year.
They did it earlier in the year. Now, the significance, I believe they booked it for a date that's like a week before AEW. AEW's doing like a week-long stay of TV tapings at the ECW arena.
WWE's playing with their food right now. That's what they're doing.
Now,
they're basically just messing with Tony because they know he's going to say something. Someone's going to ask him a dumb question, and he's going to give you a dumb answer. Or some wrestler's going to go on a podcast for 12 straight days and talk smack about a company who's drawing 3 times more than them and makes way more money than they do and has bigger TV deals, has bigger everything, has better story writing, has everything else going through. Because what's what it is at the end of the day? It's storytelling. Professional wrestling is telling a full story, not just doing flips. If I wanted to watch flips, I'd turn on LA in 2028 and watch the gymnastics. I'm really excited for that. Hopefully Simone Biles comes back again and wins more gold medals for the U.S. Other than that, I don't care how many flips you do or how great your work rate is, what you consider work rate, or any of that stuff. I'm an actual pro wrestling fan, and I know that it's full storytelling. You have to carry your weight in the ring, but you also have to be able to hold one of these, and you have to be able to get people invested in what you're doing.
And he held up a microphone, by the way. Audio. One of these. I have an idea. Man, I have an idea.
Hopefully it's better than Tony Khan's.
No. So
I'm not starting a wrestling promotion with you. I'm sorry.
No, I have an idea. If I'm Tony Khan, because that
I'm
show.
so glad you're not.
If that
We couldn't be friends anymore.
that show's a
and
week.
that'd be a real bummer for me because I actually enjoy you.
Thank you. That show's a week before the NXT shows a week before their shows.
Yeah.
If I'm Tony Khan, I'm buying all the tickets. I'm buying all the tickets.
Money's not an issue, right?
And I'm buying all the tickets.
Empty
and then
arena?
Empty arena. Empty arena.
No.
It's what 50 Cent did with who do you do that with?
Ja Rule or something like that. One of those guys.
Yep. Yes. Yep. Ja Rule came out. It's like, wait a minute.
And
What happened to all the?
if I'm WWE, I'm like, hey, cool, night off. That's great.
And then because the one area where WWE had, their tail between their legs, this past weekend in Tampa was supposed to be a 4-day weekend. NXT, the regular show, was supposed to be in Tampa. They didn't have enough. They didn't sell enough tickets.
It's a shocker because you're trying to do something back to back when it's the developmental show. Raw, SmackDown, whatever can get away with it because they are the main roster shows. They are mainstays. They are established products. AEW Dynamite is their established product. It is the crown jewel of that company, of AEW. Collision is the redheaded stepchild, and Dynamite is the golden child, the one that excelled in everything, and mom and dad are real proud, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
real
like,
proud.
when your mom and your dad are both Tony Khan, run. But nevertheless, I mean, NXT not being able to sell out a 10,000-seat arena in 2 out of 3 days is not surprising to me.
But I was just saying, if I'm, Tony Khan,
But even
buy those tickets.
But even then, 3,000 people were going to go to NXT. That's still about what AEW gets in their shows now. So I mean, I don't know. It's still pretty.
You say it's competition, and so okay, at some point you got to strike back. At some point you strike back,
And not like through the media. Don't talk. 'Cause
I
when you
don't
talk, you look ridiculous.
either do an empty arena, or if you can find AEW plants, if you can hire some people.
Yeah, have them all swear because WWE's mad at people for swearing in the crowd now too.
Well,
Netflix isn't letting us say what we want. Shut up.
Well, on the CW, you can't be swearing. The CW, I understand. Like, you can't be.
I watched One Tree Hill. I watched a brother kill his brother with a gun in a school at one point.
You watch One Tree Hill?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
That was the reason why I got Netflix
Oh, yeah.
in the
that's
beginning because One Tree Hill was on Netflix, and I couldn't.
So I was so in the zone, like after Stephanie Vaquer lost her championship, like, oh my god! And then they rolled the credit, and as soon as
I cleaned my whole apartment. I was like just locked in.
And then like within like 10 seconds, the news started,
Yeah.
and the lead story, such and such was killed. I'm like, oh wow,
Yeah.
that killed the mood.
That was a tough
no
day.
pun intended.
That was a tough day for you. Yeah,
man,
tough night.
man, just tough. Well, here's the thing, and I said something earlier in the show. NXT can have great shows. We love that NXT has great shows. NXT has been great. NXT, when NXT by far is your hottest show at the moment on the main roster, notice on this show, we have not really talked about the main roster too much. We're kind of in the dog days a little bit with the main roster. So real quick with Raw, let me start there. I want to like the Seth Rollins group now. Not like in terms of like, yes, they're bad guys, not in that way, but like what they're bringing to the table and whatnot.
It's still very.
hey,
It's very.
let it cook.
It's very early.
Let it cook. It's
very
early.
Yeah.
I get all that. I still stand by that. Seth Rollins, that music has to go.
Well, he mentioned it during the promo, right? You can't decide what you want to do. You want to chant my song. You want the song. He's using it now more for the ego trip and not for the fan interaction, so he can throw it back at the fans. That's the only way I could see keeping it and having it make sense because he's going to keep playing them against themselves. Like, you guys, you don't know what the hell you want.
But I think now
I'll tell you what you need.
But this is not a John Cena situation.
No.
This is not a John Cena, him feuding against the fans for 25 years of backlash.
He's using it as, this is my ticket to get where I need to go, and you guys are just fueling the fire. This is hilarious. Like, you want to boo me for everything else, but you still sing my song. It's yeah.
But I don't think I understand the premise. I get the premise. I don't think it's effective. I think you got.
I'll get Def Rebel on a new theme song. I'm sure they'll do a great job.
Whatever.
At this point, if I had to choose, I'll keep the old song because I don't know what they're going to come up with.
Well,
Could be rough.
well, Seth Rollins is a bad guy, so it's time to like really, really hone that in.
Yeah.
You got Bronson Reed. Paul Heyman laid out the reason, and I told you, like, Paul Heyman basically laid out a case for why Bronson Reed should be leading the group instead of Seth Rollins.
I got to build him up.
And I get the whole, the visionary thing, but
I wish I would have had a little more interaction with Seth. I didn't need Paul to explain it. I wanted Seth.
Seth needs to explain.
To tie it in, like, hey, you came, because Paul did say you came out against one of the biggest guys in the company, possibly the biggest star in the company now, and he took him on and he put him out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that makes a lot of sense why Seth would look at him and say, I could use that.
Like the little detail with Braun, like, Braun was like,
yeah. Braun's still not fully bought in. You can tell.
And I want to see those layers kind of. I think the big thing with this group, especially too if your scenario with Stephanie Vaquer plays out as well.
Be great. I love it.
You gotta sometimes tiptoeing around things is not effective.
Yeah.
I think tiptoeing. You kind of see the day, even with like a group like the Wyatt Six. I think like tiptoeing. You don't really buy. You can't really sink your teeth into the story. And with this group, it has to be established that they are the bad guys. Because on the other side, you got CM Punk, you got Sami Zayn, you got Jey Uso, you got a lot of likable guys that they're facing off on the other side who are clear baby faces. So this tiptoeing thing cannot continue.
I think the only problem with this too is they had so many events, like PLE events, back to back to back with, it was Backlash, or what was it? Backlash, Saturday Night's main event, now Money in the Bank 2 weeks away.
And then WrestleMania wasn't that far away either.
Yeah, so now they've got this build then. They've got, I think, a solid month plus 5 weeks till the next Saturday Night's main event. And after that, they have another couple weeks.
Well, they have Money in the Bank next week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're going to have 5 weeks of, like, unimpeded television to actually start to get more of a direction. I imagine we're going to get a Seth versus Jey Uso match at SummerSlam. I would assume that's what's going to happen, with the caveat of, and that's where we talk about Money in the Bank, man, because Seth's in it again. Mm-hmm. They're talking about 2-time winners now, like being a thing. I mean, Alexa and Seth, I'd imagine, are the favorites right now to win that match because we don't have all the participants filled out yet. But I don't.
Well, it would be a huge fella if Seth Rollins doesn't win the Money in the Bank.
Would it? Does he really need it?
Oh, absolutely, he needs it.
Well,
his entire story. Yeah,
but Seth can get a championship match by doing this. Like,
I understand that, but can he do that without like that promo that he laid out?
He made it feel important to win it, but his whole thing now is being able to pivot off of what we think he's going to do, right? Being able to, like, I need to win the championship against Jay on the Monday Night Raw after Backlash. He didn't win it, but I have Bronson Reed in my back pocket. I have things that you don't know about yet. It's the master manipulator. At the mind.
I get all that, but what's the point? The Bloodline, there was a point to the entire operation.
Because Roman was always champion.
But it started.
Keep the title.
But how did the process start?
It was just Paul and Roman.
It was Paul and Roman.
That was it.
And then Jey Uso.
Not until after he won the championship.
But it was Paul and Roman, and they started, and the number one goal was championship. Power championship.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman, in a way, is saying the same thing, that the World Heavyweight title is power and status. Seth Rollins lays it out and saying, I have the ultimate power if I have the Money in the Bank. I do like the fact that he didn't single out the world title. It does put in your ear a little bit that maybe he could have a face-off with Cena. Doubt it happens, but that's where you put that seed in.
I think I like that, too, because I'm coming around, because I think that it gives Jay more time with the title.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want to keep it on him a little while longer than we thought, maybe through SummerSlam, that kind of stuff. So
he's selling merch. Jay is very popular among the live fans and the kids.
Got to get his promos back. He's got to be able to cut them in
every week. It just has to happen. Now tonight, John Cena, Cody Rhodes. We did ask at the end of the show last week, how would you bring back Cody Rhodes?
We found out.
Obviously, the SummerSlam angle is out of the question now. But here we are, Cena and Cody.
Now it's
back
a SummerSlam
tonight,
match.
And then they have the tag team match next week.
Yeah, so that'll be a thing. And then I imagine that's going to build to Cena Rhodes at SummerSlam.
Honestly, I think they're pulling the trigger at Night of Champions.
In Saudi?
I think so.
God.
Because otherwise, it doesn't make sense to do this tag team match now.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they want to make
just
it
with
the
the
card.
timing.
And Cena's always he's either in Tampa or LA most days, right? So
True.
yeah.
It's just it doesn't. And one of the things we had in the rundown. Originally, maybe Travis Scott was going to be in this, and maybe
He
still
flaked.
will somewhere. And then
Flaked
He heard he had to take some contact,
like Tony the Tiger.
He had
Frosted
to take some physical
flake.
contact, and it's like, no, I'm good.
Frosted Tips, Nick Lachey, 99, flaked. Tony the Tiger. One of my favorite cereals of all time. No milk.
No milk.
I actually, it can be kind of sharp. You're playing with fire, but it's pretty good without milk.
I,
Well, I drink
The
like a glass of
first-
milk on the side, and then I.
the first growing up, my mom had to force me to eat cereal with milk.
Really?
I didn't do it.
I
That's
don't
why
blame
my
you.
favorite cereal growing up was Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops,
Mm.
because you don't need milk to enjoy the
You
flavors.
really don't. You can just snack on those, grab a handful, and
Yeah.
it's great. Well, Fruit Loops for sure, but I'm not grabbing the Frosted Flakes. It's sharp.
Well,
you
it's not that
You
bad.
cut yourself, man.
That's not that bad.
It's like glass in there.
Apple Jacks was the other one.
Yeah.
Apple Jacks was
Mhm.
great. There was one time my mom brought cornflakes. That was a tough night. That was a tough day.
Just a tough night. I ate the
No
whole box,
sugar.
but it was a tough night.
No sugar. No toys.
Just this weird looking rooster on a box.
No nothing. I think here, I thought a little bit about this. Remember last year when the first feud with Cody after he won the title was with AJ Styles.
Yeah.
They had their match at Backlash. It was great, but it really wasn't much of a story. But AJ lost. AJ took a month off, and they did a feud with Logan Paul for the championship. And then they circle back to AJ Styles. I almost get the vibe, different circumstance, but I almost get the vibe you're kind of doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
So
We're
don't
running
know-
out of time for we talk about a lot of the guys that we want John to face. We want to see him in the ring with AJ Styles again. We want to see him in the ring with Punk and with certain people. Dude, it's halfway through the year already.
I wonder if
He's only wrestled Randy. That's the only person we really wanted to see that he checked it off the list. I mean, they're figuring that they're going to backload a lot of this, and we're going to get a lot of mini feuds because we have no choice. But I mean, I wanted solid feuds with Randy, which I think we got for the most part, with Punk. And I definitely wanted at least a month build with AJ, just because
I don't think we're getting AJ.
that's Cena's last great match.
I know. I don't think we're getting it.
16 was unbelievable. That Royal Rumble match is possibly Cena's best match ever.
True, but I don't
Like-
think we're getting AJ.
Unfortunately, he'll be wrestling Joe Hendry in TNA, or maybe he'll be the one to save.
I do like the idea in that Trick Williams feud, Hendry, start tapping into your TNA alum. You have a ton. Start tapping in, and and the importance.
We get Happy Corbin version of Joe Hendry. He grows out the beard. It's like all disheveled. He's like, man, I can't. He sings off tune. He can't get his guitar in tune now and stuff. He's just like going down the road of like, man, I lost everything, brother. And then AJ Styles comes in. What the hell are you doing?
Bianca Belair's back tonight.
I wish I cared. Is she gonna punch someone with her broken fingers, or what is she gonna do? She's just talking. So.
I will say this though, one of the hot moments of the week, Natalia's birthday party.
You're on social media, so you see all this stuff. I don't.
It was crazy.
If it's that important, send it to me.
You could Google. It was nice.
I don't want to Google it.
There's no storytelling elements out of it, but it was a nice birthday party. That's all I got for that. It's time now to spin forward this Naomi story.
Yeah, they can do that.
It's time.
So also, I want to bring this up to you because I told this to you before the show started. Starting next week, I'm going to make a run at this, do the best I can since I'm also going to be working from home and stuff too. I'm going to have some more time. I am going to start a Kyle Reacts To series on the channel here. It'll be on the YouTube channel if you're looking for it. Basically reacting to the shows. So my goal is Raw, NXT, Dynamite, and SmackDown.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm not. So it'll be 4 things a week, plus maybe if there's a couple stories, something like that pop up that are kind of big in the wrestling world, I'll react to those too. Trying to give you guys some variety of stuff on the main channel for YouTube. We obviously have our full episodes you guys can watch. You can go back, and I think we're 70-some episodes in now.
Episode 74.
Yeah, we're in the mid 70s at this point. We're like Pete. He's in his mid 70s, but nevertheless, we have only 2 real options for you guys at this point. You can watch those full episodes, or you can watch the clips we post, the shorts, which do really well on the YouTube channel. Some variety that I'm going to try and sprinkle in here with this. I know everyone can't wait to see my Dynamite review every week.
Now you'll have to do the Dynamite review like on Thursday because we tape usually on Wednesday nights.
Well, we're also going to talk about that too in a minute when the show goes off the air.
Are we taping on Tuesdays now?
We'll talk about it when
we should tape on Tuesdays.
I don't want to have a show meeting.
We should tape
during
on
the show.
Tuesdays. I'm putting my vote in. We should tape on Tuesdays.
We'll discuss, but nevertheless, the goal is to put the reviews out the night of the show. So the night the show, when it's over, I'm not going to watch them live, but I'll try and watch them as close to when they're supposed to end, and then I'd record the review and post it for you guys for your viewing pleasure. So stay tuned for those. It'll be its own section on the YouTube page. If it does well enough, we'll take some clips and we'll throw them some other places too. But we want to give you a little bit of variety, and of course, me unhinged, being able to talk about stuff right after it happened a little bit. We'll still obviously be able to dive in deeper, but quick reviews of stuff. And maybe I'll pull whatever hair out I have left when I don't shave my head when I watch AEW. So
2 other things real quick. Social media. Watch the clip of our comments on Dom Mysterio. Legitimate question. Would you like...
They had the Triple Crown in horse racing?
Yeah.
I think he may have the equivalent in WWE.
Oh, it's better.
In pro wrestling.
It's better because he can actually make it.
He can close the rung here. Yeah, the last leg. He's currently in the middle. He's completed the first 2 legs.
Yeah.
He's done with the Kentucky Derby.
Yep.
He's been at, was it Preakness?
Preakness
the next one?
is the second.
He's pulling in the Belmont Stakes.
Yep.
He's in the parking lot right now.
Now that's the longest one now.
Yeah.
That's the longest one. You start with an expanded deluxe version of chicken nuggets. Got him there. And then once you graduate to chicken sandwiches, now it's over.
You've heard of the Holy Trinity, but I don't know if you've. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
And then last thing, I wanted to bring this up because I thought Rebecca brought up a great point. I think now with the Wyatt Six returning, I don't want them to go away again. Now it's time to really lean in. And I thought she had a great point, Rebecca. You got Alexa Bliss. Again, it's been kind of, is she in? Is she out? Is it either fully lean in and reveal that she's the leader,
or lean out,
or she's out?
And then her and Charlotte's a story, and you're doing it, and she's going to focus on being that person. Like, yeah.
So that's all I had. I thought that was a great point that she made.
Yep.
Either she's all in or all out. She's too good. Money.
Are we all in on July 12th at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday?
You don't want to put in that work shift, don't you?
I really don't.
You don't want to put in work.
I've worked that entire week before, so I would rather not.
Man, you don't want to do it.
My weekend is my weekend. I like to enjoy it.
You don't want to watch 8 hours of wrestling? You didn't hear Dave Meltzer talk about how the Tokyo Dome shows didn't end until 4 a.m.
Yeah, because they're in fucking Japan. Sorry.
The show started at 6.
Could someone teach Dave Meltzer about time zones, please? For the love of God. Dom Mysterio and Dave Meltzer need to go back to 8th grade U.S. history class or geography class, whatever it was then. I don't know. It's been so long, but my son knows about time zones, and he's 7.
Those shows were, he said double or nothing. It was a little long. Not too much. It was a little bit.
I watched a show that was in Japan last week. I was up till like 5 a.m. What time was it there? Like 8:00. Oh.
He actually has a ringtone. Somebody called him during the taping of his show, and the ringtone, you can hear the clip. He's called a jackass. Good night. We'll see you guys, or good day, whatever day this is, Friday. We're back on Thursdays, at least for now, until our show meeting.
Yeah.
And then we'll be on.
Which will be directly after this is done. So I can get you heads up.
We'll see you next time. Episode 75, whenever it airs.